Hi, welcome to the Awkward Angler podcast, an authentic series talking about fishing, social justice, and storytelling with folks within the outdoor industry. I'm your host, Erica Nelson. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a self-taught angler that is passionate about sharing my learning journey. I am also a Brown Folks Fishing Ambassador and organizational leadership developer with incredible amounts of optimism. Understanding that we all have something to learn from each other, this podcast is for the aspiring, the beginner, the mediocre, and the expert angler willing to learn new skills and how to be a better ally. Working through hard conversations can definitely get a little awkward. We fumble through them and worry about getting it right. It's time to step out of your comfort zone and start getting awkward. This show is for mature audiences. Be sure to follow for updates on awkwardangler.com and on Instagram at awkwardangler. Due to the sensitive nature of this episode, listener discretion is advised. This episode includes discussions of suicide that may be upsetting or triggering for some listeners. I will be sure to note when this conversation is about to happen. Today, I get to speak and catch up with my brother, a fellow Brown Folks Fishing Ambassador, fly guide, and founder of Taco Fly Co., Mario Guel.
Hi, Erica.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah, it's always good to see you.
I wore my taco hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that one was a good one too. I remember when you put that on, I was like, this one fits Erica really well.
Oh yeah.
And you got that one when you came out and visited here in Quincy in Plymouth County for the Hex Hatch a couple years ago.
I know, which is oh my gosh, I still think about that like every day and every year. Like
so cool, huh? What an awesome experience that hatch is. It's
oh my god, it was like magical.
I like too how like we had this whole thing where everyone was supposed to come out. This is before COVID. Yeah. And you were the only one. And I think that's like proves so much about you and your personality. It's like when you say you're going to do something, you stick with it. So, and I'm not discrediting anyone else or anything, but yeah, I definitely give you props for being the BFF person that did show up.
Yeah. I know, right? Where are the
we had two campsites for 3 people.
That's right. And your dog.
and Cody. Yep. R.I.P. Cody.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, it's all good. He passed away last year, 17 and a half. So I had a good run, really good run.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's definitely, people are like, oh, you should come and stay with me. Like my door is open anytime. I'm like, I'm definitely going to take you up on that. And nice. It's been awesome. So
yeah, I think that's rad. It's like, cause when you do get into fly fishing, you do meet a lot of people. That's like one of the benefits, right, of fly fishing is that you actually, when you do meet people online or just word of mouth or at a bar or something, typically people are like, you should come fishing with me sometime. And yeah, I see that you take advantage of that, and that's awesome. And so do I totally will be like, all right, I'll be there. And I've had some amazing trips just by doing that. And so obviously one of the benefits of being a fly fisher person, and it's super cool.
Yeah, cool. So where are you at?
I'm in Quincy, California. Basically we're in so the best way to explain Quincy is we are nestled between Reno and Lake Almanor. So basically if you flew a plane from Almanor to Reno, we're halfway in between. We're in a place called Plymouth County in Plymouth National Forest. That's what the map's gone. There used to be a map over here. Now it's in our living room. And it's essentially Sierra Nevadas of California, and we call it the Lost Sierras.
Nice.
Yeah, cool. Super cool place. Love it.
For some reason, I thought you moved.
No, still here. So I actually rent a place out in Trinity County in Lewiston, California, as part of my guiding experience. For me, that's the place where I stay. It's kind of when I moved from San Jose, I stayed on that property. When I moved here and I started guiding out at Trinity, she rented me a room. I live I rent a room in a barn with a bunch of mice now. Kind of nuts. There's so many mice in my barn, but I love it. It's like a steelhead shack, so it's super cool.
I had a summer job in Bear Valley, California, off Highway 4.
Okay.
In the High Sierra, and I rented this like summer cabin. It was super sweet. Well, in the summer, it's like the cross country, like I don't know, like the little hot chocolate shack or whatever.
Right.
Every time, like every summer I moved in, there was just so many mice. Like
that's cool. I didn't know that you did that. That's rad. I'm
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that area because when I was a kid, one of my friends, their parents had a cabin out near Bear Valley.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
And the four is awesome. That's a beautiful highway once you get up in the Sierras. It's
Oh
gorgeous.
yeah, for sure. And like interesting like wine country as well, like Calveras County.
Right? Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Really good fishing out there too. Super good fishing.
I wasn't into fishing at the time. I was like playing disc golf, and they
Oh,
actually Highway
cool.
4 has like the most disc golf courses per capita in the US.
Oh, whoa, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty
Wow.
fun.
Interesting California fact.
Yeah. I used to play competitively, and so that's like
Oh,
all
cool.
I did. Yeah.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, it was
I didn't know that. I didn't know that you did that. That's cool. I have
yeah,
a friend that's super into disc golf and he does it competitively as well. And he
nice.
loves it. He's like, loves it.
Yeah. I, I was obsessed until I moved to Wyoming, and then it was just too windy and like nobody
Right.
maintained the course, and I was like, all
Right.
right, I'm gonna need a new hobby. That's actually, yeah, how I got into
Yeah.
fly fishing.
Oh, whoa, really? I didn't know that. Were you a pro disc golfer? Were you like super good?
Oh yeah, like PDGA. Yeah.
That's super
I
cool.
just moved and I'm like unpacking boxes, and I found this little like award. Like I won like, I don't know, I think it was like third place or something in a tournament.
Sweet.
And I was like, I think I'm gonna put it like right where my where I do all my Zoom
Nice.
calls.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
I
little
think that's a
office
good
wall.
idea. Because it's a great story. You'd be like, yeah, I was a disc golfer, you
That's
know.
right. It wasn't that great. Like it was, there was probably like, I don't know, 5 women. I got third.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been invited to go. I just never, yeah, I never really partaked in it. It seems interesting. Seems like a good excuse to like get out, and go walk the forest.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of technique. And it seems like a lot of the times what people talk about it, they're really talking about like how it's like you really get to talk to the people you're going with and like
Yeah.
kind of bond with each other. So
Oh
we
my
have
God.
we have some pirate courses out here near where I go mountain biking and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
if you come out,
remember.
maybe we'll have to go out there, have someone take us or something.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. I
Yeah.
remember when I was actually going through Quincy, I stopped and played a little bit.
Oh, cool. Nice. Oh, yeah, I remember that. You had yeah, okay, cool. I don't remember much from that trip, but I remember.
I just remember like that, like the disc golf course, and then Hex Hatch like every
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah. Everything else in between was a little fuzzy. we had so, we had so much fun. That was awesome. We had a blast.
I know. I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah. Anytime. You're always welcome out here.
Sweet. Yeah. Awesome. And yeah, you're welcome to my new home as well. So
Yeah, we'll get out there. I'd love to get out. I've only been to Colorado. I want to say like 2 or 3 times, but never really got to explore the area. It was for work, and then I put something in between. I did go out there for a Trout Unlimited conference once, which was really cool. But I got to fish the Blue River there, but I haven't got to explore.
yeah.
I grew up snowboarding too, so it was like I've always wanted to go to Breckenridge. I've always wanted to go to like that area where there's that insane snow and party time. Now I'm getting older, but I'll still make it out there. I'll make it out there, and I guess I'll probably still party.
I feel you on the olderness. Like I've been feeling it. Like my parents helped me move, and I was like, yeah, I'm getting old. I'm getting old. I'm too
Yeah.
old.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's really hitting. It's really hitting.
Yeah.
40. I made it. I made it.
Woo! Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Well, when's your birthday?
August 24th. Oh, I heard that. Yes. I should have got a beer, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm trying to think in my head right now where I have one hiding. I don't have any hiding. I drank mine this last week and they're all gone.
Oh, sad.
Yeah.
I was
But
hoping that you could show us special beers, but
oh man, yeah. So special beers. Just for people are new, haven't seen what Taco Flyco does. We make special beers. You can look it up online. It's definitely something like I've shown a lot. I love showing people how to make these, and I actually was thinking about a special beer today. Like I should have got stuff to make one. But if you Google Taco Flyco special beers, there's a video online, and everyone should have one. You should try it. It'll upgrade your summer. I think it'll upgrade your winter, your spring, your summer. And where I'm kind of at with the special beer thing to myself, I mean, we've been doing special beers since like, you know, I started fishing on the Trin pretty heavily with my buddy Andrew. So I was like already like 4 years into special beers. And then Taco Flyco came around and it was just like times 10 special beers. And so I'm not gonna say I'm jaded on them. Like I love them. Like my mouth is watering right now thinking about it, but it's like it got to the point where it was like every fishing trip had special beers, and sometimes you gotta change it up. And that's like one of the cool things about like, you know, drinking beers. There's so many. So once I played them out a little bit, I'm now at IPA, and you know, I'll just have a Modelo, just nothing in it. But I save the special beers for special occasions for sure. You know, we have a reunion of friends coming up in Pyramid Lake in March, and I'll be definitely cracking some special beers around then.
That's great. It's even more special now.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've now like reserved it to be like a even more special experience. And I mean, we're so like intertwined in the special beer lifestyle. We have stickers, we've got pins, we've got hats, we've got special beer shirts and stuff. And it's just like one of those things that came with the fly fishing experience, that kind of like, just when you have your homies together and you make special beers, you're like, I love you. And it's like, you made me a special. And it's like this way you could bring in strangers. It's just adds that other level to fly fishing. That's kind of like, it brings people together. So
yeah, which I love. Like I know that when we first met, it was just like family, you know. And
yeah, totally.
it was special, you know. And
Yeah.
I always laugh when I see these like older men, like they just look so serious, you know, like, like straight out of Cabela's, you know, with the gadgets and stuff. And they're just so serious. And I'm like, does not look like fun.
Yeah. I think too, like that, like whole experience, like when we met, you know, like I said, like circling back to what we had talked about, like in fly fishing, you meet people in different areas. And that's how skateboarding was. And I grew up skateboarding. So it was like you meet people from other areas. It's just like, what's up? You know, typically if you know of someone who knows them, it's already immediately family. So I thought, you know, that's how I feel like when, you know, people come and visit. When you came, it was just like, you're my sister. I call you my sister.
I know. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, we had a blast. And I get what you're saying too. Like, you know, sometimes, and I think, and I'm starting to learn, like, you know, how to address certain things like that when people are kind of a little too serious for me. Maybe they're just not my type of person. Maybe.
Who are you? Would you mind introducing yourself?
Okay, all right. My name's Mario Guel. So my last name Guel, Guel. I say Mario Guel. It's like Miguel Guel. My family says Guel. I went to Spain to go learn Spanish, and my friends taught me there, like, you know, you don't say Guel, you say Guel, right? So anyways, my name is Mario Guel. I'm from San Jose, originally born and raised there. I'm 40 years old, and I am the owner and one of the guides for Taco Flyco. Taco Flyco is a lifestyle fly fishing brand and outfitter service. I love fly fishing. I love fishing in general. I started as a huge bass fisherman my whole life from when I was a little kid. I mean, it was, you know, fishing, skateboarding, snowboarding, right? And that was like, in photography, those were like my things. Oh, and videography. I mean, I have a lot of passions, a lot of things. But yeah, so I would say, you know, part of the reason why you and I are talking is because of fly fishing and brown folks fishing, and just this, you know, community that created through social media and meeting people through social media. And yeah, so I'm a fly fishing junkie. I love it. I love it a lot. I also really love running this brand. It's super fun. You growing up as a skateboarder, you always are like, man, if I had a skate company, you know, or something. And so obviously through years and years, I've skated for 25 years. I can still skate. I can still do a kickflip probably first try. But I mean, I love it. I just don't do it anymore. And I mean, I will for sure if we're out somewhere, someone has a board, or we're gonna go somewhere to skate, I will. But yeah, so I started Taco Flyco, and that's what I'm doing now. It's a super fun experience. And so I don't like to say, like, I hate saying, calling myself a fly fisherman. I don't really say that, you know. I must say I'm a fly fishing guide when people ask what I do for a living, but I'm just a guy who really likes fly fishing. So I don't know if that makes a difference. I don't like to be categorized in that group of fly fishermen. So I'm just a guy who likes fly fishing. So
And actually, like, let's break that down a little bit. Like, why don't you like to identify as fly fishing?
so it's funny that you say that, because I actually just was talking. I have these conversations so much with people. So coming into fly fishing, I quickly realized that I don't know. I met a group of people who I related to finally. Let's just say that. And they're awesome dudes from Southern California. I love them so much. They're my Superfly boys, is what I call them. We all met each other at the Trinity and stuff. But yeah, I just fly fishing, the mold, the definition of it, which is changing. So I don't, I want to be sure I reiterate that. But where it comes from as a kid for me in San Jose and watching fly fishermen, I was like, I'm not like those dudes. Even like bass fishermen, it was the same way. But yeah, I just don't like to put myself in that group just because I'm not from that core of what it was founded upon. So I like to say I'm a guy who likes fly fishing. I'm not a fly fisherman. You know what I mean? I'm a guy who likes fly fishing. And then and this is no offense to anybody out there. And I say this as it's a joke, right? And I say to my friends, like, I just don't like fly fishermen, but I love my homies who fly fish. You know what I mean? So, and I think a lot of that comes with like, I mean, I could go on and on about this, and I think that people, if they follow my brand and my branding and my social media presence, they understand I'm pretty vocal about not appreciating the elitist mentality and all of these rules that people write down. Like, I follow rules for sure when it comes to respecting people and shaking their hands to say hello, which of course you don't have to if you don't want to. But I just don't. I think when there's like unwritten rules in this quote unquote sport or lifestyle or whatever, I just like a lot of them. It just didn't pertain to me because I come from a different background than a lot of these people, so I can't relate to those rules. And also, I grew up skateboarding. We filmed ourselves, we made videos, we took pictures, and whether we did that for self-promotion and or also fun and for our memory banks, because we can't remember anything because we just can't, because we party too hard. It doesn't matter why I do that. I take pictures and I post stuff and I make videos because that's what I enjoy. Just because these rules of fly fishing said that that's not how you're supposed to do it, unless you're a brand, unless you have millions of dollars and then you're marketing, then you can do it. But if you're just some guy that likes it and you want to post a picture of yourself on Instagram, you can't do it. And like these rules just like never pertain to me. So I'm not, and that's where I say like they just not pertain to me. They don't. I'm like, F those rules, like I'll do what I want. I'm from California. I aren't we American? Can't we do what we want? Like, isn't this what this is supposed to be? Isn't it a free country? Like that's, but then you say that and then you get ridiculed through the fly fishing industry because you're being free and you're breaking rules and you're doing whatever you want. Then it's not a free country anymore. But isn't that what you're advocating? So it's so hopefully it's a long-winded answer, but I love what's been happening over the past like 3 months as far as being I'm only been guiding fly fishing for about a year and a half now, and I go to spots to go guide, and I'm having people like, oh, Taco, what's up? And I'm like, that guy is saying hi to me. That's weird, because that dude would never have said hi to me before, because I'm looking at him and I'm of course stereotyping him. He may have had a stereotype on me prior to seeing my social media presence. And I'm stereotyping him, and he's no longer stereotyping me because he sees my personality online, where at first glance, if he didn't, maybe he would have judged me differently and not say, hey man, how's it going? And just kind of looked at the other direction. So I'm starting to see that more, which is super cool. Like there's actually like, okay, that guy's got the kit. He's got the fly fishing kit. And I go, and I'm always a pretty friendly guy, but it got to the point for a minute there where when we first started this thing and saying hi to people and stuff like that, it was just like not welcoming, and it was not cool. So again, long-winded answer. Nothing against anybody. It's just that I don't come from that background. I come from bass fishing, skateboarding, snowboarding, living in San Jose, doing the downtown San Jose bar scene. I mean, that's where I come from. And I love fly fishing. These people might come from something else, and I'm infiltrating that thing. And so, I think too that saying I'm a fly fisherman, like I can't, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll say it one day. Maybe I will.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, because I can so relate to everything, except, the first time I think that I identified as an angler, I went to this, I was at this outdoor conference. I forgot what it was, but anyway, they had like a little subgroup, like a happy hour or whatever, for hunters and anglers. And I just started fishing, like maybe I was like 2.5 years into fishing, and I'm like, I've never really identified as an angler before, and why do they always lump them with hunting? Like, I don't understand, like, why anglers, like, get lumped together. And I never understood, like, why don't hunters talk to like backpackers? Because you're literally just like, or hikers, you're
right,
literally hiking out in the middle of nowhere,
right,
for a while or whatever. Anyway, so when I went to this little happy hour subgroup, I was definitely like the only woman of color. There was one other woman, and she's a badass hunter in Wyoming, but I was definitely the only woman of color, and it was
right,
just a bunch of older white guys, and it was
yeah,
super uncomfortable, and
right,
it wasn't fun. Like, it was
right.
it was very like stoic and serious. And
I have a question. Were people talking to you? Did people come up to you and say things?
yeah, well, I'm also like pretty outgoing, like yourself, I'll
Yeah,
put myself in awkward situations and whatnot.
yeah,
And so there was a couple people that I talked to, but I think I approached them, actually, now that I think about it. I don't think they
yeah,
actually approached me. So yeah, it was definitely awkward. So,
right.
but
I had a similar experience.
yeah.
That's when I think also too. So being from the Bay Area and being a bass fisherman and being from California,
Mhm.
especially the Bay Area, I mean, it's very, very diverse.
Yeah.
You see every type of person out on the water. I mean, even in the California Delta, where I would go frequent a bunch, and bass fishing, is very diverse.
Mhm.
In California, in the Delta, in the Bay Area,
Yeah.
right? And then I started going fly fishing up in the Trinity County area, and
Mhm.
things looked a lot different up there. A lot different. And
Like, what were some differences?
it just, there's not as many people of color, and
Mm.
there's not as many. And you know, I felt like I was more or less sticking out more like a sore thumb. And then I went to that Trout Unlimited conference out in Colorado,
Mhm.
and then it was really apparent that I am not like anybody. It was nuts. Like, I think there, like I've said the story before, but I think there was one other Asian guy, and I think there was like 550 people, and me and this Asian guy. And I gotta admit though, like I was very welcomed. It was cool.
Yeah.
Everyone was really nice.
Yeah.
People were coming up to me. I definitely I was wearing taco stuff I just started taco, which is kind
Oh,
of
nice.
cool too.
Yeah.
And people would be like, "What is that?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm just doing this clothing thing." At the time I wasn't a guide. And so yeah, that right there, like being there and just being like a guy like from, California, Bay Area. Like, I used to do graffiti as a kid, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I'm like looking around this big giant room, like, what the hell? Okay. It is true what I kind of thought, like the majority of fly fishing
Yeah.
is, white people, which I'm not discrediting. I'm just stating the obvious.
Yeah.
That's it.
Totally. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying is that's obvious,
Yeah.
is that's what it was. It primarily was. I'm
Mhm.
saying was because I'm seeing things change. And so yeah, I had a similar experience as you.
Yeah.
And I think that it wasn't a harsh reality check, but it was a reality check of
Mhm.
what this is, right? Because my crew that I was fishing with up in the Trinity, like, there's some white guys, there's a Mexican guy, but they come from an area in Southern California where it's pretty diverse as well. And so, skaters sagging their waders, like, you know what I mean? Just looked a little different. So then once I started getting, I think also too into the industry, that's when I was like, oh shit, like this is actually, this is I'm infiltrating something that's a little bit different than me,
Totally.
So
So now I'm kind of curious, like, how did you find Brown Folks Fishing and why did you become an ambassador?
good question. I think I want to say Tracy reached out to me. And at the time I would be doing like, Trinity tags, or I drag like the Trinity River, which I heard that's bad too. I'll go on about that, but anyways, and then,
which I definitely want to talk about.
Yeah, okay, so like I put like hashtag not okay, so geotag too, and like Steelhead or whatever. And I think at that time the algorithms with Instagram were working a little better, where it was like bringing people together as opposed to just showing like, oh, you're a guy, you like girls in bikinis. No, now like back then it was like, you like fly fishing, this person likes fly fishing, you should check out their profile and stuff. And and then Tracy reached out to me, and at the time I was probably already, I'd say 6 months into Taco Fly Co, and already getting like the slack from the fly fishing community about, you're not supposed to do it that way, buddy. And so, when Tracy reached out to me and she showed me the mission statement, I was like, hell yeah, I'm so on board with that, especially because I am a person of color and I'm ready. And I was at the time, like, that's why I made Taco Fly Co. I made Taco Fly Co as an answer to me going out into a fishing store and going, dude, all this stuff is not me. Like, I can't. And then also I want to make stuff that relates to people like me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it the way that I used to do it in skating or whatever that was. And I started getting shit right away, immediately. So when I got that text, I think she hit me up on Instagram, or I think she sent me an email. And she showed me the mission statement. It was just like no brainer for me. And I love it too, because I the other reason I wanted to do it is I can elaborate or articulate. See, like, this is where I struggle. I can articulate my words sometimes, but a lot of times I struggle at what I'm trying to say. So to know, okay, I have a point I want to get across, and especially during like the time of like when George Floyd was murdered, and I wanted to say something on my platform. It was like cool to know I could reach out to the BFF group and say, these are my thoughts, guys. Like, this is how I want to say it. And people give me insight that's intelligent and well thought out. And that's cool to know I have, as opposed to my dummy friends over here, which I love my homies. They're all great. Some are smart. Some aren't. Most of them aren't. It's cool to have that support from the group, who are straight up warriors and very intelligent, and they're badass, and they are super inspiring people, because we're that's that. So yeah, it was a no-brainer. And I'm continue, like, I go back and forth, like, I know what our group and our message is about. I personally, as a BFF ambassador, would love to see us as a group get together more. That's something too I really want to see, because we are doing something, and we are putting a lot of effort into something. We're all fighting our own battles, right? And I feel that that's something as a group we should do, because we established it and we got in there, and then it was like, let's go. And we've been out there for a while now, and it's like, that's what I want to see happen. Sooner than later, get the crew together. But I'm backing it 100%. I love what the crew does, and so I'm gonna probably end up giving you a lot of long-winded answers, because
no, this is awesome.
I'm well rested and stuff. But so that's how it happened, and I was just so stoked when Tracy reached out to me. It was really like an honor. Like, I never got into this fly fishing thing to be an ambassador for anything.
Right.
But when it comes down to brown folks fishing, like that's a no-brainer. I I don't necessarily want sponsorship from anybody. That's not what I'm doing this for. I'm not trying to get, a rod, put my hat in the company ambassador. But when it comes to BFF, I'm proud as hell to put that as that's something that I'm down for. So
nice. Yeah. So what does being an ambassador mean to you? Because like to me, it's definitely similar, sentiments and feelings of like fuck yeah, like this is my crew, this is exactly
yeah.
what's missing in the industry. My personal reason is to be the representation because there's no representation. So, I'm kind of that putting myself out there like that. What does that mean to you for like you to be an ambassador?
So I would say what I like about the BFF group is that everyone has their like personality in what they
Yeah,
do,
exactly. Yeah.
and like Elin, for example, right?
Mhm.
Elin is funny as hell. Like he's hilarious. He's a great fly fisherman, I think. He loves fly fishing.
Yeah.
But I mean, we did a fly tying thing together with Confluence Outfitters, and it was actually super fun. Like that was the first time Elin and I actually engaged.
Oh, nice.
And it was like I could hang with this dude. Like we had fun, we had drinks, and we did some fly tying, and it's like he's got his life path that he's doing and involves fly fishing and being a BFF ambassador and an advocate of diversity in the outdoors. And then there's you. Like I consider you like a badass woman. Like you're a very powerful woman, and you love the outdoors and you live in Colorado. Like, you like, so everyone has their thing. And so what it means to me is like I'm putting my thing, like I talk about farts and shit. And like I like talk about like I don't know, like I'm a skater, I'll say dude, like, and there's, so just to have that other, like, not I'm saying like we're like Voltron, or anything like that, but everyone has their thing. And I hopefully I can I'm bringing something to the group that's like, I'm always making jokes, I'm always trying to say something funny, like that's just, I'm always like okay, for example, I think there was somebody put a picture of Eddie up there, and it was like, I wrote, that's a handsome ass food, and people liked it in the group text, and that's just like, just to have that. So I feel like it's like, it is kind of like this group, and it's like Voltron, and everyone's got their special thing that they're into, and hopefully with what I'm doing and who I'm targeting my market to, Taco Flyco and the association with BFF, I who comes to my brand are I mean, I would say actually it's starting to get pretty broad about who my customer base is, but who the target market is. I'm bringing that that like, hey, diversity in the outdoors means something to me. And while you might like this special beer life, and you like this funny guy that I'm not trying to be, I'm just an idiot, right? So you might like who I am. Guess what? I'm also an advocate for diversity in the outdoors. And if you think that because I'm that way, that I'm sponsored by Biden or some bullshit or whatever that is, like whatever, like I don't care what you think, because I'm gonna continue to, celebrate my association with this group, and also celebrate my heritage, and know that I got a crew on my back over here that's like, we got your back, dude. Like, no matter what you do about celebrating your Mexican heritage in the fly fishing or the outdoor industry, we got your back. And to know that is like, it's even like I'm gonna do it anyway, but to know I got this smart ass crew behind me, where if I'm like, how do I write this paragraph, guys? Like, what should I say? Like I know if I ever like if I ever encounter something where I know I need to elaborate some specific types of words, or this message, I'll come to you first, I'll go to Tracy, and I know for a fact you guys will help me, and that's like super valuable. Crew, we got the crew.
That's
I got my crew, what's up? And they're smart as hell.
You worded that well, eloquently, because Because no, every ambassador does have their thing. And I guess like me saying like, oh, like what does it mean to you? That's really what I was getting at, is like, what's your thing? And I've been doing a lot of work, external work for brown folks fishing because of the Angling for All pledge. And, I really want other folks to know like who the ambassadors are. And because I love that we as a group, as a crew, have diversity in the types of fishing that we do too.
Yes, exactly. That as well. Yep.
Yeah, it's not just fly fishing, it's like literally every type of fishing.
Every type of fishing. Yeah. That's something too. I always like, I always kind of I always think about, right? I'm like, yeah, we're a fly fishing crew. But it's like, no, everyone does all kinds of different fishing. And it's like, yeah, that's super awesome. I love that, how the group has come together and who's involved in it. It's pretty special.
Before we hit record, you asked me, how's your podcast going? And
yeah,
I wanted to save this conversation because that my answer, I guess, is because I think it's been going well. I've been getting a lot of great and positive feedback. And it's interesting to kind of, I like uniting people. I just love people being on the same page and people feeling comfortable. And it's hard sometimes on a post, right, to like, you're only allowed certain characters and words and whatnot. And so
right.
I wanted people to kind of like, actually there's a deeper conversation behind each post, or I want people to know what brown folks fishing is. And so I think it's been going pretty well. And these are just conversations that I have anyway with people. So I'm like, what if I just hit a record button and see what happens?
Yeah.
And the only episode that I got like a lot of, I guess like not negative feedback. I wouldn't call it feedback because they didn't actually listen to it. Geotagging episode.
Okay. Yeah.
And so just the word, right? Geotagging has a lot of different, it brings up a lot of different things for different people.
Yeah.
And especially as we were talking about before with unspoken rules, like the fly fishing culture, right? And how we don't want to associate with it because it is so like stiff and it's not welcoming. And, we're just naming it because we are the diversity. We're the only ones that walk into a room of hunting and angling, and we're the only people of color. And so this is an observation. And part of that was talking about geotagging. And I know that you've had some I guess I want to hear about your experiences a little bit more on geotagging, and maybe just your thoughts if you have any on it.
Yeah, so this one's a good one. Let me get this water real quick. So this one's a good one. I don't think that I have like a definition on like how, okay, so it's a complex subject. It's a very complex subject because, yes, there are watersheds that can't take pressure. There are watersheds that can't take too many people coming. There are watersheds that are, very, 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 how can I, they're special, they're sacred to specific people. I mean, and this is where I could like, get into so many different explanations about my views about geotagging. But okay, so to quickly answer your question, my first experiences with geotagging and more or less spot posting comes with the Trinity Superfly videos. So we made these videos that were called Trinity Superflies, Trinity River, right? Now, I would say that the feedback has been 89% positive. The 11% is people who are like, you're blowing up the river, bro. And I'm like, okay, whatever, because if you Google Trinity River, there's a video from GoPro. There's a video from this other guy. There's a video of it, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, okay, have you said the same thing to those guys? Right? Okay, and then when I became a guide, I'm guiding on the Lower Sac, Trinity River, Plumas County. Guess what? I put up a post my first season, Trinity River Fishing Report, okay? Got an email from some guy. And he's like, you might want to think about the way that you're doing this. But I also made sure that on that post I put, if you have any issues, call our customer service department at 911 911 91111. But he didn't do that. He emailed me. I said, you know, buddy, I said, it's funny that you're saying that to me because there's a outfitter service that's doing the exact same thing.
Mhm.
Have you asked them to take down their post or to consider their posting? I don't know them. I go, you don't know me either.
Right.
So obviously that proves right there the guy is just seriously an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And then I also made sure to remind him, you probably should have called our customer service department. So obviously, you know, I'm trolling the troll, and I love doing that. And it's funny because I make it funny, you know, and then he goes, you know, your behavior like this, you're gonna get on the wrong side of this community. I was like, I was born on the wrong side of this community, fool. Like, I don't care, you know?
Yeah.
So that's one experience, right? And then I got another email from another group of people that said the same thing. They said, hey man, you know, you might want to consider what you're talking about. And I'm like, same question. Have you asked Confluence Outfitters? Oh, sorry. Have you asked the other outfitters? Have you asked? You can post, you can keep that. That's fine. I don't have anything against those guys. They're doing what I'm doing. They're making a living, taking people fishing. Have you asked the other fly shops out there that are putting up reports? Well, yeah, you know, I'm just a messenger of what I'm hearing from people. I'm like, okay, all right, I get it, man. Okay, so you're a messenger of trying to tell me what to do because you guys have decided that the way I'm doing it is wrong for you. All right, now, obviously, you know, they consider what I'm doing is wrong. And it's wrong for me, a brown fly fisherman, new fly fishing guide, to post up reports about the Trinity River. But these shops and these outfitters can do it. Why? Because you guys have decided that that's okay for them, because they are respected and they've been in the industry and blah, 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 blah. It's like, nah, dude, sorry, that ain't gonna work with me. I'm gonna do what I want, okay? Now, do I have like a problem with when another guy goes and does Trinity River? I might go like this in this situation, right? I'm like, okay, well, cool. This guy's trying to be a guide, or this guy's celebrating his weekend that he had at Trinity River, right? And, oh, in the background, I can see the specific landmark. I know where it's at because I've been fishing there forever. But this other dude that's never been to Trinity River doesn't have any idea where that's at. Mind you, I don't know how that guy caught that fish at that spot that I realized. I don't know if he swung a fly, used roe, you know, grabbed a bead. Maybe he's using Psycho Prince's rubber legs. I don't know. You know, I don't know that. So if I go to that spot, can I replicate what he did? Probably not. Maybe if I'm lucky, you know, maybe if I'm lucky, I can. But that doesn't necessarily mean I can do what he did at that spot. So am I going to burn him because he's showing a spot on the train that I know? I'm not going to, because you know what? I just don't feel it's not up to me. Now, if I see him and his homies on the shore and there's garbage everywhere and it shows like them, I might be like, hey, dude, I hope you guys picked up that garbage and I hope you had a good time. Yeah. Maybe I might not even say that because that's just still also none of my business, right? If I go to that spot and I see that dude's trash there, then I'll say something. Yeah. But I'm not going to assume, you know, like, oh, he left all that shit on the shore and he's disrespecting our area or whatever, right? So that's like one perspective and one thing I encountered with geotagging and how I feel about it. A big one right now is coastal steelhead. Right now it's coastal steelhead time. Just because I even said coastal steelhead. Oh no. Oh no. All the guys that are out there catching coastal steelhead are like, oh, he's talking about coastal steelhead on a podcast. Ah! Like, are you kidding me? Dude, so then the guy's holding a fish and he's holding a coastal steelhead and I see green water and it's like, okay, he's on the coast. Cool. Good for him, man. It could be any of those rivers out there. Now, I'm not going to tag it, or if the guy tags it, let's just say the guy tags it and says where the spot is. Am I the police to do it? No. It's not my job. It's not my, it's also, you know, I don't know this guy's story. I don't know why he's posting that. Maybe there's could be all kinds of things. Maybe honestly, let's just put a story out there, right? I can make something up. Maybe the guy seriously has the shittiest job. He's got a really, really, really tough life at home. He finally got to get out. He finally got to go catch a special creature. He's holding it and he's saying, I'm proud. I'm so happy that I got this. And you're going to shoot him down because it's your spot or you go there. Like, that's none of your business. It's none of your business on why why he's saying that he's at the spot, right? And also maybe he didn't read the unwritten rule book that's not written. So it's like there's all these different ways to go. Now, let's just say like there's some spots in my area that I consider pretty special. Okay. Would I be protective if I saw somebody tagging it? I guess I really haven't been there. And also I'm not that guy. I'm not that type of person that's like, hey dude, those rocks in the background they're real familiar. That's just not my story. That's not my style. I'm not like that, again, because I know my story of what got me into fly fishing, and it saved my life, and it's very special. It's very powerful to me. And so I don't know his story, her story. I don't know what they're, maybe they're just getting into it and they caught a badass fish and they're stoked, and they're also, is it my business what they're doing on their account? You know what I mean? Like, is it really like, am I Mr. Internet Policeman or whatever? Right? So, I've gotten it a lot in the way that I do my branding and my posting and my social media presence. I fish a lot of places. We've made videos specifically that highlight an area. And I put it out there, and I put myself out there for the ridicule, because I just know for a fact, like, I'm not the person I'm not going there to go, throw beer cans everywhere, just toss my cigarette butts and disrespect the place. I'm going there to enjoy it and to also share my experience, to get more people stoked on this way of life, fly fishing. I'm doing it in a way where I'm promoting the healthy benefits of fly fishing and getting out with your friends and having fun. And also there's these beautiful places, like, look at this place. It's amazing. Now, I've learned through that, I'll put Trinity River up when I do a report, because that's why I work. And also too, it's very accessible. There's been a lot of work that has been put into making that place a successful fishery. Also, if I'm going to be there a majority of the time, I want to advocate like respecting the place in a way. Hey, don't, if you see some trash, pick it up, or, and it's not like, oh, I'm making money on the Trinity River. No, that's just where I go to go share this experience and take people out for their first experience, or to go fulfill a dream, like catch a steelhead. That's the place I'm going to go. That's where I go. I have to say something about that, because that's my business, quote unquote, right? That's what I've decided to do in my life, to share this joy and this love of this thing that I have with other people, and getting them out there. Yeah. Now, when people come out and start to police it in whether it be like in a violent sort of way, or which I've seen, I luckily not on my stuff, but I've seen in other people's accounts, people threaten violence. That to me is it's totally uncalled for. It's ridiculous to say to anyone that you'd like to do this to them because they're showing the spot. It's sad to me. It's really sad. Yeah. I think it's probably like one of the worst things in this industry that we have to deal with. Right. I'm not also celebrating, hey, you should put every single thing that you put up. I'm definitely not saying that either. I'm just saying that you don't know the person's story. You don't know where they come from. You don't know like anything about that. And if you do, and other certain things, I mean, is it up to you to be the judge? And that's, I think, also one of the things in this fly fishing game, and specifically fly fishing, not just fishing. I say fly fishing. I'm calling fly fishing out. Is that there is a lot of people that seem like just because they play with these rods and feathers, they feel like they're entitled. You know what I mean? Rods, feathers, and beads and stuff. And they're like, I'm Mr. Advocate, and I'm going to tell this person what to do and how to do it. And it's just like, I don't know. So does that, I mean, that's why there's no answer.
Mhm.
It's just, those are my experiences and my beliefs.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing, because it's it's part of a conversation, and that was like the goal behind that, behind the topic of geotagging in general, not necessarily just the podcast, but just having the community talk about it. And because it's just so almost taboo to even talk about or mention, because there's just so many
Even say geotagging.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like the only time I had any like negativity, in like my 2 years of this Instagram account was like literally that episode. And they didn't even listen because it was just
that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to ask you is like, or probably mention.
Yeah.
And also because I have your back, like how many of these fools didn't even listen to the podcast?
Oh yeah, you could definitely tell they didn't, because
that's the thing.
Yeah, it was,
and that's also too, that's like the unfortunate thing about trying to have a dialogue with idiots on social media. They're just so stupid. Like they didn't even listen to the podcast, but they're talking shit. Like what?
Like I'm rooting fly fishing and like the weight of the world that I'm carrying or something like that. And it wasn't quite like violence or threats or anything, but I felt like it was kind of almost borderline of, I still have messages I haven't checked. Like
yeah. Yeah, and I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. And it's also like, when we put ourselves out there, like people like you and me, we're gonna get that. And that's where that those messages are bad. It's like just ignore them, just delete them. Just delete them.
Yeah.
I don't even block them. I just delete them, but I don't block them because I still want them to see my stuff.
Same. There's just like the extra annoying ones that like create fake accounts, and I'm like, all right, that deserves a block. But everyone else, I want you to see my stuff.
Yeah, it's geotagging is always going to be one of those very complex subjects in the outdoor industry, and then for some reason with the fly fishing industry or fly fishing fans or whatever you want to call them, it's like the most touchiest of subjects.
When it doesn't have to be, like that is a barrier that needs to be broken. And actually, because like it is growing in popularity, fishing in general, since COVID hit. And so how can we actually inform and educate? Like education is missing, right? It's all just, you're either in the club or you're not in the club. You either know the rules because your great grandpa passed them down and you started fishing as a kid, or like someone like me who just wanted to get into it, but yet I had nobody to guide me, to like introduce me to etiquette and whatnot. So yeah, it's more a conversation that needs to be had, that introduced here.
And that's also too, well here's a subject I think that kind of touches on the geotagging, right? So you got a person on social media and they tag a specific river, right? And then this guy who's been going to this river since he was a kid sees more people going. He's going like, it's because of the social media. And it's like, nah, dude, probably maybe a little bit. It might have a contribution to it, but more people are getting outside. More people have access to this thing called the interweb and the internet. Fly fishing Sierra Nevadas. Guess what comes up? All of these rivers. And more people are getting outside. More people are, especially with the COVID thing that happened. I mean, you couldn't even buy mountain bikes in some of the bike shops because they were all sold, because people are like, I want to get outside,
Totally.
And so there are and also too, guess what, everyone, there's more and more people being born every day. So in 20 years, those kids that were born today are going to be 20 years old. And probably more of those people will be fly fishing. And you'll still be alive with all of your friends that have been fishing this water for 20 years. Now you have 20-year-olds coming because there's more people on the planet. So that's the other thing I think that is like, you can't blame it all on the geotagging that has occurred. It's part of it. Maybe, there's the bucket and it's part, but it's not the whole reason. So when you go at somebody because they might have tagged something in, it's your spot, it's like you gotta look beyond the surface there, and you gotta understand other things about that situation. And but then also that's requiring people to think, and a lot of people don't do that.
We've reached the part of the episode where listener discretion is advised.
So I want to kind of ask you a personal question that you had mentioned earlier, and you can share if you want, but if you don't want, you don't have
I'll
to.
probably end up sharing it.
You said fly fishing saved my life.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So this one's like, I get sensitive about it. I might cry. So like when I went through my skate injury, I got depressed. Shit. Real, like, don't delete this because it's real. I was suicidal, and suicide is a real thing, and it's scary because to think like I was at that point in my life, and I'm doing this with you because I trust you and you're my friend, and I think that anybody out there who knows me knows I'm open about my feelings. And suicide is a serious thing, and I'm a very blessed person. I have a lot. I have good family. I've got I've got a lot of good things in my life, and I was just going down the wrong path. I was doing drugs and I was partying too much, and I got injured, and I got really dark and down. And everyone goes through that if in extreme sports or whatever, right? I think that my combination of where I ended up was just like deep and dark and influenced by my lifestyle. My lifestyle was partying. I mean, I still party now, but I had to find what was causing my depression. And that was like the first thing. And then I went through this, like, I mean, I was just there. I was at that point. And I called the suicide hotline, and they're amazing. So, hopefully, then that's one thing too. Like, I've put up posts about the suicide hotline up online, and it's important that people know that there's people out there to listen to you, to hear you out, and to help you. When you're in that moment, call that hotline, because they could save your life. And the guy convinced me to call my mom. I called my mom. She came, and that moment, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I have to go. I have to keep going. It was a result of an injury, and then not taking care of myself. And then I think that just everything from childhood, all that just got to that point. And then I said, you know what? After that happened, I loved fly fishing so much. Like, I love steelheading, and I love just getting out. And so I had to get my knee right. I couldn't even bend my knee for like almost a year. So picture that, like skateboarding 4 or 5 days a week, and then going to rivers and snowboarding, and then all of a sudden I can't do anything, and I'm just like losing it. And when I decided not to take my life, when I decided it was time for me to say, this is it, I need to make myself better. I gotta live. I gotta have a good life. I live in California, I have access to the Trinity River. And I was like, I'm gonna go sober for a while, and I'm gonna talk to the right doctor, get my knee corrected, get my knee fixed. Luckily, at the time, my insurance got better, and I was able to get proper physical therapy. I shaved my head. I became reborn, like, I was like, I'm coming out of this better. And my primary goal was to get back on the Trinity River by next October. I wanted to wade in that river again, successfully wade across a gnarly run and just like be like, I'm gonna throw a freaking bobber in that run over there, because I was limping, you know, I couldn't even bend my knee, you know, and that was my goal, and I stuck with that goal. I said, fly fishing, that's what I'm gonna do. It wasn't even skating, it wasn't mountain biking, it wasn't snowboarding, it was like straight up like fishing. That's where my goal is. It's fly fishing. I'm gonna go fly fish. I'm gonna stay alive. I'm gonna take care of myself. I'm gonna get healthy again. I'm gonna be getting myself good enough to where I can go catch a steelhead. That's like what my goal was. And just to have that goal was enough for me to just be like, that Mario over here is not dead. That's my strength. This Mario that was so sad and super down, and you know, that's my strength to continue to go on. And then fly fishing was my end goal. And when I got there, when I arrived, and like I moved to the Trinity, like a month later after that situation, I decided, well, you know, I'm going to move to the Trinity. I don't care what's going to happen. I'm going to go live this life. I have one very special life, and I'm alive now. And I decided this on purpose to stay alive. And that was it. So when I finally made it, I got to the Trinity River, and since then it's just like, here I am, Taco Flaco. So it's like, it's hard to express to people like how passionate I am about fly fishing, because they don't know the full story. And so just like to be able to share that publicly, I think it's important, because that's where I come back, and why when people talk shit on my accounts or about Taco Flaco, whatever, that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I love it. It's like, this is my deal. You whoever you are, the trolls or the naysayers or the rule makers, you're never gonna change this. Like, my passion for it is, and the way I'm gonna do it is the way I'm gonna do it, because that's the way that made me healthy. That's the way that made my life better. That's the way that made taco possible, is that. So yeah, pretty intense like situation. But since then, I've never had a thought about that before. You know, depression's real. I've been depressed again, but not like how I was. That was like super bad. So fly fishing was my goal. It continues to be my life force. It continues to be my stoke and my happiness. And it's just, I mean, just to know, like, I'm not going fishing this weekend, but I'm going fishing the next weekend. And then I got a trip with some friends coming. And then I got another trip with some more clients coming. And it's just like, to know that it's in my future, and to know that that's around. It just like, yeah. I mean, I smile a lot. So I smile a lot now, and it's because of fly fishing.
Wow,
so.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm
You're welcome. I'm a crier. I always have been, but that subject to me is important to share. It's important. And you know, suicide hotlines, I don't even know where it came from, but I just knew I needed to call it, because I remember some people educating, you know, and I have friends who have committed suicide, and it's sad, because, you know, I've been there and I know how dark it is.
Yeah.
And it's just important that people know there's somebody out there that's ready to listen and help.
Yeah.
So.
I've had a close relative also where the hotline is also not for, you know, it's also for folks that have loved ones that are struggling as well.
Right. Okay.
Which I found help in that number as well, because I don't know how to support people that get to that point. And I found it very beneficial and had a lot of great resources talking to somebody. So
yeah,
super.
That's cool. I'm glad that you included that. I think that's important. And you know, that's where I say, like, you're dissing all these people
Yeah.
You know, you got these meme accounts talking shit, and you've got these trolls trolling. Like, you don't know that person's story.
Right.
You don't know why they're where they're at.
Right.
And there's always going to be trolls, and I talk shit sometimes, and
Yeah.
you know, it's just part of life or whatever, and it's funny. It makes things fun and funny, right? And but that's where I feel like sometimes, you know, you have to think about, especially you can kind of see sometimes in some people, like I've seen posts of people and they're so excited, and then there's just this like shooting down of them. It's like, damn, man, like, you know, and I've seen it on very popular accounts too, and I've stuck up for some of those people. I've said things, you know, like to trolls openly. And I don't get into a fight or anything. I really try to at least like put perspective on that person's mind, and let them think about, hey man, you know, you're really like talking down on this person. You have no idea. And then it ends up that person on social media came out and talked about his depression. And he's getting like all day just people coming at him and talking shit, and it was super hard to see because, you know, I related to him.
Yeah.
And I related to his thing, like he fishes because he loves it, and it's not his fault he's good at it and catches a bunch of fish, and maybe he's done things that are controversial, but you know, it's like you're shooting down somebody who's been through depression and you're okay with it. It's just harsh. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's just you don't know what people are going through. You don't know people's stories, you know, and I definitely admire your resilience, not only in the experience that you've had and how fishing has literally saved your life, and
thank you.
but also I appreciate your approach to trolls and trolling the troll, your humor, and I
Only for trolls.
yeah, I found comfort in that as I was
Good.
going through like my first troll phase of
Yeah, yeah. Good.
like, yeah, like you really don't know people's stories. And you know, it is frustrating to see these meme accounts because there is a balance of fun and funny and making light of the industry, but at the same time there's some harm as well that is being caused. And I
Yeah.
just it's frustrating to see because you don't know people's stories. You don't know where they're coming
Yeah.
from. You don't know why they fish. You know, you don't know how they got
Oh
into
yeah.
it. There's just so much to
Yeah.
to this. So
Oh, for sure. You know, I come from like a family where my dad was like, you know, very protective over his family, and then also very protective or you know, he didn't incite violence. He didn't say like, you know, people pick on you, you know, like go beat him up or whatever. But
yeah.
he definitely trained, but he taught me a certain way of going about things that are definitely old school. And as soon as, you know, you let the bullies pick on you face to face, this is why I'm talking face to face. When that bully's coming up at you face to face and you don't do anything about it, he's going to keep doing it. So you do something about that. You know, that's what I was raised like. And I was a small kid, and that's what I did. And bullies didn't pick on me after I stuck up for myself face to face. Now, obviously, these meme accounts, they're hiding behind keyboards.
Yeah.
That right there is enough to prove how cowardly they are.
Totally.
I would love to meet the guy who does a meme account that comes out and he's like, I'm the guy,
Yeah.
you know, which will never happen. And I would be like, you know what, that dude is tight because he's saying it and he's being it. And maybe I wouldn't agree with what he's saying, but at least he's not hiding. You know what I mean? And a lot of these people do. And I just think in that when I think of that, I'm just like, dude, I can't even, it doesn't even really like, it doesn't even register or bother me. Now I troll openly. Like, this is me, guys. I got
Yeah.
my address online. You can find me, and I'll tell you where I'll be.
Call
And
me up.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm definitely, like I said, I'm not one that's like promoting violence or anything like that. But I
Yeah.
think, you know, meme accounts, they are hurtful, and they definitely, they're around and they're funny. Some are funny, and there's some I watch and I'm just like, damn, that is harsh. That's
Yeah.
harsh.
Mhm.
That's really bad, like super bad. And you know what? Whatever. Most of them are cowards, and they're gonna hide behind keyboards, and they're gonna hide behind their phones, and they're not gonna let anybody know who they are.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm gonna share something with you because you made me think of this. It's called the Pyramid of Hate. Have you seen this or heard about this?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
So there's like this pyramid at the bottom. The base is like bias attitudes, which is like stereotyping, insensitive remarks, fear of differences, non-inclusive language, microaggressions, justifying biases by seeking out like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like the baseline of a meme account of
Yeah.
kind of that. And then it kind of elevates to acts of bias. So bullying, ridicule, name calling, slurs, social avoidance, dehumanization. That's biased and belittling jokes. And I think
Right.
that also like is part of those meme accounts as well. I would say
Mm-hmm.
like I could probably put like label
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, I have two accounts in both of those categories that I'm thinking of,
Oh yeah.
and then there elevates to discrimination. And that's like economic, political, educational, employment, housing, segregation. I do see segregation as well in the industry. So,
Yes, definitely.
and I do see it on accounts that are as well that elevate to that. And then if we move up, that's bias motivated violence. So
Mm-hmm.
that's murder, rape, assault, arson, terrorism, vandalism, desecration, and threats. I
Right.
definitely see threats happening
Yep.
also in the fly fishing space, which
Oh
is
yeah.
unfortunate. And then the top is genocide. So the act or intent to deliberately and systematically annihilate an entire people. So
Wow. Like there's words on there a lot of these people don't even understand
yeah,
that. So that right there in itself, it's like if you even try to educate the idiots or the idiot, um, which I think is like that's where I feel, in some spaces where, hey, do you just got to just kind of understand like where you're at or what you're doing and what it actually means, like
yeah,
kind of harsh. I mean, I like some memes I see. They're funny.
yeah,
But then once you start getting into the acts of bias and discrimination, right?
yeah,
In those levels, and even like you said, like the threats, like I've seen that with that account I was talking about, like somebody was actually literally threatening this person.
yeah.
If I see you here, you better watch out. It's like, whoa, dude.
Yep.
And the meme accounts were also helping fuel that fire,
Yep.
right? They're fueling this fire of people hating this person. And it's just like, we're never going to be able to stop it. And I'm glad that we can talk about it. And, it's always going to be out there. And I think it's just like a choice of the people who support those accounts. And that comes down to those people. And, when they're sharing the post, and I don't know, it's just something to think about within your friends, in your friend groups, and who you actually are around, and what they're laughing at. Some of the stuff is, like I said, that's what's good about being who we are and where we're at.
Yeah,
We can do what we want, but I
totally.
think that it's definitely important that we understand that there are things that can get pretty gnarly out there, especially when you support these types of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, these are definitely like the effects of biases. And once we become okay with like the bottom, we typically like our tolerance level is like, oh, well, that's okay. So I'm going to elevate it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's like the danger of like, possibly literally deliberately looking to, hopefully we don't get to that level. Actually, I don't even want to see any of these levels. I don't even want to be at the base. So,
No.
but yeah, it's like once we become okay with one thing, it just kind of spirals out of
Yeah.
control. So
I'm you know I'm waiting. I guess it might have already happened. I just don't follow meme accounts, to be honest. Like I follow like I think one or two.
yeah, same. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I follow like one or two, and when I see some of the ones that talk shit about the industry trying to approach diversity, that
yeah,
right there in my mind, I'm thinking that motherfucker is fucking already proving he's a racist,
yeah,
and he's a shit talker, and
right.
he's a racist, because it's like if you're discrediting like people, obviously this gets us into that conversation where there's the people that'll say, oh yeah, well, you know, there isn't even any racism in fly fishing, dude. You're stupid. It's like, okay, are you kidding me, man? Like, uh, that's what I encountered on my post.
Oh yeah.
I got a lot of that,
Oh
and
yeah.
I that's where it's just like you can't win with stupidity. You just can't. There's nothing you can do. But yeah, those are ones when I see my friends following those accounts, I'm like, I look at my friend a little differently. I'm like, so you're okay with that? You know, you're okay with this dude like blatantly being a bigot, and that's funny to you? Like, I question out who I hang out with and who I, and that's also that's the challenge of running a brand. I do like everyone at first glance. I'm always willing to accept people and post people on my account because they're supporting my brand. I don't go do a vetting and check their political views and anything like that, but it's definitely something that's on my mind and is a challenge of like, what my approach to this whole thing is. And obviously I'll have to encounter it when it comes, and I know it's going to come and it'll be here. And if it hasn't already happened and I haven't seen it, but yeah, it's part of what we're going to encounter, right, as social media people.
Right.
So,
yeah, exactly.
but we got our crew, and that's what matters.
Yeah,
right?
I love the support.
Yeah, we've got our support, we've got our crew, and I have my family. I got my lady. She's super smart too. Like, she'll be like, babe, you probably shouldn't say that. You should think about it. Like, I'm like, all right, cool. So, and as long as she likes me, I'm good.
Be sure to tell her I said hello.
I will.
I want to see her again too.
Yeah.
One of the things that I loved about Megan, the first thing that she said when I met her was like, "Welcome to Quincy. This is the home of the mighty people." And I was like, oh, "You don't even know who I
am." Yeah, she's a freaking badass, dude.
Yeah,
she's so bad.
So cool.
Yeah.
So okay, really quickly, I freaking love conspiracy theories, and I cracked up when you were like in this phase of like, I think this was like last year, whatever. I don't remember when.
Right.
But I'm a fan of them. I entertain them.
Right.
So I was just curious on your actual views of conspiracy theories.
Okay, yeah, it's funny you say this. So, okay, I did a lot of mind expanding as a kid. All right.
Yeah.
A lot of it. So, and I still continue to do mind expanding now. And I think that like when I was a kid, I was just so like pro cannabis. I was pro a lot of things, and I was a good student, and I had like this like lifestyle of getting things done, and then also maybe not. But I was always like into education and understanding the bigger picture. When you do those when you mind expand in that specific way as a younger child, which unfortunately I was exposed to, I looked at the world in a whole different way than a lot of people right next to. I'd be like, damn, this dude didn't see what I saw yesterday, like, and it really, like, especially when you start following specific or reading specific authors and watching specific movies, and I just, as I grew up, I know for a fact, like first glance, what we see is not what it is in the way our country's ran and the way things are. I mean, you look back at the 60s, and the Black Panther Party is one of the ones that I always like think about, right? And the Black Panther Party and how they were suppressed and basically eliminated. It's insane. But at that point in time, who they became and what they stood for and how they were standing up for themselves. And there was a big problem in this country in the 40s and 50s. I mean, come on, people, like, that's the part. That wasn't that long ago. I mean, we have people who, my parents were born in the 40s, you know what I mean? And so like things changed in the 60s, and mind expansion, like, and new music and LSD and people going, you know what, that's not how I'm going to live my life. That seems like that's a machine, that's a machine telling me what to do. And I was a huge 60s fan, and with that, and with, growing up and always just, I know that that's not the way it is. That's how I would look in my head. I know that's not the way it is. Like, we don't have to have the white picket fence and the kid, we don't have to you don't have to go to college right out of high school, go live life a little, find out who you are. I'm not promoting that, but if if you want to go try life a little different, do it. Don't do what they say. And that's how I live, right? That's how I lived my life. So then I always would think about things like, I mean, naturally, I would come up with the conspiracy theory in my head. Naturally, like about, like, let's say, for example, Beverly Hills 90210. I'm just making this up. This is how I am. And I'd be like, dude, they have the two guys, you know, Luke and blah, blah, blah. And they plan it this way because they want it to be so that when the kids watch this who are specific, you know, a specific age, this is what they think about. And so I would always come up with conspiracy theories in my head. All right. And then, of course, the internet comes along, and down the road, I mean, I would, and especially Instagram, like, I mean, now you're seeing conspiracy theories being believed and public, or being published, and then being believed by like 20 million people. And it's like, wait a minute, like, someone probably seriously made this up, guys. You know. And I like it because you can be, now I'm not saying I like conspiracy theories. I'm saying I like how I could make fun of them in certain ways, because now it got to the point where it was so bad in our country, and it was like actually driving people to believe. I mean, what's one of the ones? I mean, Trump was here to save us from the alien baby eaters or something. That right there is nuts. So I am definitely like, I look at Elon sometimes. I'm like, man, I want to try comedy, which I'm sure a comedian can make fun of a guy like me for, you know. But so I felt like when that happened, I didn't use Taco to do it, but I used my personal profile to start making up my own. And, you know, there was one that I did where it was like, I don't know, 5G plus 2 plus blah, blah, blah. And then I took a picture of the COVID map, and I drew a devil face because it looked like a devil. And I was like, it's the devil. And I have my cousin, he's like, dude, you honestly probably should like put it's a joke at the end of your things, because people will believe you. So, but yeah, I think they're pretty intense. I mean, I have friends now who friends I grew up with who are seriously like, they got so consumed in that stuff that it's like, I don't know, man. Is anime really created by Satan worshippers? I don't know. I used to like want to draw anime when I was a kid, but I don't know. So, and that's what's special about being in the United States, right? We all could believe what we want to believe, and you know, it's definitely you know, freedom of expression and beliefs and stuff. We are lucky we have that here. And yeah, so conspiracy theories, oh man, they're nuts. And I would say one of my favorites, which I think could be true, is the you know, LSD and where it came from. And like, you know, and how LSD actually, if LSD didn't get introduced in the 60s, would we be where we're at right now as a country? I don't know. And was that, you know, Ken Kesey and the Merry Pranksters, and Ken Kesey was a tester, and he's the author of One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest, and I mean, he was a huge advocate of it, and they would travel the world, and like, were they getting support from the government to do that by the Democratic Party at the time to fight the Nixon administration? I don't know, but maybe.
Yes. Mind expansion. I guess that I should say that is like why I like them, just entertaining, I guess, is that.
Yeah.
Like, well, especially being indigenous, right? Like, I wouldn't put it past the government on anything. Like,
oh yeah, see,
like literally
yeah.
that genocide, that is like super real. And the cover-ups of, you know, not talking about it in history and where we're at today with systemic racism. And so anyway, like that's kind of where I'm coming from and why I'm mean. But yeah,
it's crazy. I think sometimes even about fly fishing conspiracy theories, you know.
That's
and
what I want to hear. Yeah, what is
like, I mean, there's, you know, like a perfect example is fly tying, right? So wait, aren't we stewards of like the land where we don't want to pollute, but we're making flies that are made of plastic and stuff like that? Who's making that plastic? Are they like not fly fishermen? Are they really like against us and they want us to look bad in the future because all of a sudden we're going to find all this plastic in the rivers? Maybe, maybe, I don't know,
Mhm.
so yeah, I think about all the time. um you know uh I feel like, the crack epidemic and how it's been proven, like they straight up let these communities be destroyed, and that's true.
Yeah.
I feel like that could have been a conspiracy theory someone thought up, or what could have published way back when, but they didn't have internet, so they couldn't get those stories out, and maybe someone was like, and so sometimes these things come true.
Yeah.
I don't know about the alien baby blood eating thing, but I don't know. Once I see it, then I'll believe it, but that's where it's like, I don't know. I like to troll my friends also who believe in some of the outlandish ones, and that's why I publish those ones on my social media account.
It's funny. Did you hear
They're
that
always,
birds aren't, I think my favorite was birds aren't real.
yeah.
Or
Oh,
like,
what about when when Instagram introduced Reels, and Reels actually are when they made that so they could watch you poop. Instagram. Poop. Reels.
wow. Yes.
Could be real.
Could be. Love when the math comes out. I was actually
Oh
listening
yeah.
to this
5G
one.
plus 2 plus 2 equals 666.
Yeah.
By the way.
Exactly.
If you write it down, you'll see 5G plus 2 plus 2 equals 666.
As we kind of wrap up our conversation, this has been so awesome to catch up and just hear.
Yeah, for sure.
more and,
Thank you for having me on. I hope they make a meme of me crying. That would be great. Meme generators. Make sure you include the taco hat.
Yeah. So what's next for you? What are you up to?
Oh man,
Either
this is a big
taco
year
or
for me. This is a big
fun?
year. I've officially, well, I just got off the phone with my accountant, who's not really accounting. He's not accounting anything yet. Because I don't know. I want to take taco to another level. I want to put it into more stores. My goal is to find a store out there that is supportive of what we do and what my brand is about. And I want to sell my gear to people who continue to want to perpetuate this, like, celebration of good times with friends. It doesn't have to be drunk. It doesn't have to be wasted. It doesn't have to be a pyramid. It doesn't have to be in the mountains. Just having a good time fishing and celebrating the love for tacos and fly fishing, or just even tacos. I want to keep getting that out there, and I want to find a shop that wants to do it and wants to work with me. I have some local shops here. They're not even fly fishing shops, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I want to put taco out there further. I want to continue to make this brand what it is, because so many people have met each other through this brand and become friends and best friends and new friends, and I want to keep that going. I think that to me is like one of the blessings of this thing, is that a lot of people have become homies and family just through wearing a taco hat. Oh, taco hat. They'll be like, what up? Or I have friends who will come into town or go somewhere and they'll be like, yeah, I hooked up with blah, 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 because I see him on your account or whatever, right?
Oh, nice.
And it's so cool. And I don't want that to ever end, because again, like, fly fishing to me is so powerful and fun. And I just want to continue to perpetuate that celebration of getting outside. And this year is the year I want to do it. So I want to make a video. I want to make a new Taco Fly Co video. I want something that's going to be put out there that I think will show people who are, at these festivals or whatever. And that's one of my goals. I want to get like I want to make a fly fishing video that's like one of those old skate videos. You're like, have you ever seen blah, blah, blah? And like, I want to make one where when they put it on, they're laughing the whole way through, crying, maybe, like, and then that's like a thing, and just continue to get more people out fly fishing. I'm not going anywhere. Taco Fly Co. The outfitter service is, I specialize in getting new people on fish, and I'm lucky. I'd say like 80% of the people I take out fly fishing are new, which is cool, and I want to keep that going. So to perpetuate the outfitter service is also something that's super important for me. And so I never thought I'd be doing this 10 years ago. I never thought I'd have my own thing, and this is the year I want to take it to the next level. This is the year I want to say, yes, I do say it already, but this is where I want to say, I have a business that I support and that that I do, and it's paying my bills. That's my goal. So
Sweet.
yeah,
Maybe we can have an awkward taco combo.
I'm down. That'd be sick. That'd be dope. It's a koozie with the missing bottom.
Yeah.
That would be so great.
Just like an off-centered hat or something. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like my life is just awkward in general.
I'm so down. That sounds so tight.
So how can people find you?
You can find me at tacoflyco.com. Tacoflyco.com's got links to all of our social media. We've got all of our videos there. I'm also on YouTube and on Instagram, Taco Flyco, and on Facebook. Maybe have a TikTok someday. We'll see.
I tried. I guess I'm trying on TikTok.
Yeah.
I mostly like to partake in recreational activities that Colorado has to offer and do TikTok. So.
Awesome. I like that. Yeah, I'd say those are the best ways that people can find me. And honestly, I love messages from people or any questions anyone has. Like, I'm definitely somebody that's willing to have discussions with anyone, new or old, people who don't like me. I'll talk with you. So hit me up. I'll at you, boy.
Oh, cool. Well, thanks again for your time, and tell Megan I said hello.
I will.
I miss you guys, and
yeah, we miss you too, sis. Come back out, or we'll come see you. I love you mucho, and thank you so much. And you're doing great.
Thank you.
Killing it.
Have a good day.
Okay. See ya. Bye.
Thank you, Mario, for your vulnerability and for sharing this very important message on how fly fishing has saved your life. I want to share with folks that mental health does not need to be stigmatized, and we need to take care of each other and look out for signs and how we can continue to support each other. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255 and available 24 hours in the languages of English and Spanish. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Head over to awkwardangler.com for show notes and resources. You can send appreciations by subscribing, sharing with a friend, rating the podcast, or Venmo at Awkward Angler. Special thanks to my Brown Folks Fishing family for your support. I'm Erica Nelson, inviting you to be an Awkward Angler. See you next week.